Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my emergency medicine rotation. So I just finished my 6th rotation. I spent 4 weeks in the ED. I had a lot of fun. I got to see a lot of cool things. On Instagram, I asked y'all for some questions. Y'all threw me a bunch of good ones. So I'm going to answer those for you in this video and we're going to get into it. Let's do it. First question here comes from Mantar1 Singh. He asked, what was the craziest or even nastiest thing you've seen so far? That's a good question. I'll answer both of them, craziest and nastiest. So, nastiest, any kind of abscess or cyst. We had a pilonidal cyst, which is basically like a cyst right on the midline of your butt, basically. It's technically the gluteal cleft is where it's located, but it's like a butt cyst. So that was pretty nasty. And then the other abscesses were equally gross. The craziest thing, I can't give you just one. There was a lot of crazy things that I saw. One lady came in who she just gotten a pain pump installed in her back, and they put her, whoever put the pump in, put her on methadone, and she had never been on any kind of opiates before. So they put her on a pretty good dose of methadone, and she was pretty somnolent. Her family kind of thought she was having a stroke. They brought her in. My preceptor actually hit her with some Narcan, and 30 minutes later she basically woke up and she was feeling a lot better, and we came to the conclusion that it was the methadone that she was on. She was just on way too much, and the Narcan brought her right back to normal. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty crazy too. Second question here comes from It's Acu. Don't know if I have that right, but we're rolling with it. What was the hardest part about working in the ER? The hardest part was probably the schedule. It was totally random. I worked some night shifts, I worked weekends. Some days I went in at 7, some days I went in at 10. There were some days where I'd come home at 4, some days I come home at 10 p.m. at night. So the schedule is totally random, it's crazy. You don't know when you're gonna be working, when you're not. At least that was my experience. I got a few days heads up, that was about it. So if you're a PA student watching this right now, the month that you do your emergency medicine rotation, just be prepared to have no plans whatsoever. Third question here comes from Chad. He asks, what's the craziest injury you saw or the craziest story you heard from others? We had this kid come in who was arm wrestling his brother, and he actually got a spiral fracture of his humerus because of it. He claims he won the match. I don't know. I think the radiograph says otherwise, but yeah, total spiral fracture of his humerus. We put a sugar tong splint on him, and he ended up, we scheduled him for surgery with his orthopedist, I think it was before a weekend, so that following Monday. So that was a pretty crazy fracture to see. Fourth question here comes from the Strong PAS. What did your EMS ride-alongs look like? Did you provide patient care? So they look kind of like this. I was with them 4 days straight. I got there at 7 a.m. I left around 3 or so I spent 8 hours with them. They actually worked 24-hour shifts. So they were 24 on, 48 off, which is crazy. I don't know how they do it. But I rode in the back seat, behind the driver. I got to assist with starting IVs, and then basically just hooking up the leads on the patient for the EKG. What else did I do? Throw the blood pressure cuff on. I tried to just help out anywhere I could. When I was in the back of the buggy, the ambulance, for whatever reason, they call them buggies here in Lexington. And that was just by habit that I called it a buggy because I spent so much time with them. But in the ambulance, right in the back, basically just getting vital signs, that whole deal. We didn't really pick up any patients that were major traumas, no gunshots, no car wrecks. I don't know who got all those calls, but it wasn't the station I was at. A lot of our complaints were people who were having shortness of breath. This one lady was vomiting a lot, so she called the ambulance. Kind of things of that nature. So yeah, I wish it would have been a lot more traumatic. I wish I would have seen things that you kind of think about when you see TV shows and that whole deal, but that wasn't the case. But I still had a lot of fun. So fifth question here comes from CD Cody Davis, and he asked, did you work with the fast track lower acuity cases or with the higher acuity cases in trauma? So where I was at, it was the lower acuity stuff. The hospital I was with was fully certified to handle stroke victims. So we got a lot of stroke patients. They went straight to the CT scanner and then up to the cath lab to have that clot removed if they were eligible for it. Besides that, we had quite a few people coming in with MIs, VTAC, VFib, just those fatal heart rhythms. EMS would bring them to us. That was probably the highest acuity stuff that we had. And then the other things would be like, I don't know, fractures, COPD exacerbations, a lot of shortness of breath, a lot of syncope, a lot of chest pain. When you do the workup, you find out it's really not heart related, it's something else totally different. So that's kind of what I saw. The last question here comes from Fareshta? Probably butchered that, I'm sorry. But they ask, how many patients did you visit each night by average? So in a typical shift, whether it was 10, 12 hours, I would probably see, I don't know, 10 to 15 patients depending on the day, the time of day. So in the ER, Mondays are crazy, Tuesdays are kind of crazy too. Day shift's always gonna be, there's always gonna be more traffic during the day. The night shift is a little more laid back. You still see some patients, but not as many. But I would say on average, on my own, I saw about 12 or 14 patients. And that doesn't include the ones that my preceptor took on his own. And then I would also go see those as well. But yeah, I'd say 12 or 14 is probably a good number. All right, you guys, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, follow me on Instagram if you're not already, @daywithapa. If you like this video, also leave me a comment. Let me know what you liked. If you have any additional questions, just fire them at me below. I'm gonna try and keep doing these videos. I don't know if they are beneficial to y'all or not, so also let me know that. So that's about all I've got. Have a great day. Have a Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year. We'll see you next time.